Welcome to episode number 2 of the With Lauda Smith podcast. In the episode, I sit down with brilliant Naomi Buff, a transformative coach and a breathwork facilitator. After I recorded this podcast, I had the chance to experience one of her new moon breathwork session, and it was such a connecting and liberating experience that I highly recommend. I think she's amazing, and I believe that you will too. So let's do this. Well, here we are. Naomi, thank you so much for joining me today for my podcast. I can't wait to hear so much about you, who you are, what you do. So please, if you can, introduce yourself, who you are, and what are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. It's so lovely to be here. So my name is Naomi Buff. In short, I'm a transformational coach and breathwork facilitator. And I predominantly work with women in midlife to help them break through like limiting beliefs, feel empowered, let go of self-doubt, reclaim confidence, all of that stuff that we want more of.
Exactly. I love. And how did you tell us the story? How did you get to do that? Like, what was the input? You can give us some chisme or some whatever.
Yeah, so I've been working in holistic wellbeing for 14 years, and my journey has very much, and my career has very much mirrored my personal life and my journey, because like I've gone through like lots of challenges over like the last 14 years, and every time that I've gone through a challenge, I have completely crumbled, felt that my life was falling apart, felt like I was lonely, struggled with self-worth, self-abandonment, lack of self-love. And every time, like I knew it was my responsibility to come back to myself. So like my career has very much mirrored like the challenges I've been through, how I've helped myself, and then a passion to think, okay, like I know this works. I know that if you do this, this, and this when you're going through a divorce, you can feel better. And I know that because I've done it. And then because I've been through it, then I then take other people through it and I go, oh yeah, and it's working for them too. So it's all come from like a desire to help people, because I know how it feels to feel that loneliness and that isolation and that hopelessness. And I also know how it feels to feel free, empowered, and confident. And just want to help people.
I love that. Have you always been drawn to like a holistic approach, or there was something in your life that was like, okay, it's time to do something different?
All my family are very spiritual and very woo-woo.
Hey.
Okay, so my mum's a psychic, all my aunts, my nan, everybody in my family on my mum's side are very witchy, woo-woo, spiritual. So I kind of, I grew up with it. So I didn't have, like most mums were saying to their daughters, like practical advice. My mum was just like, just ask the angels and they will guide you. And when you're, which is great because I say that now, but when you're like a teenager, like you're like, I need something a little bit more. But saying that, when I was 12, like I just picked up a packet of tarot cards and I just started reading, and my aunt said, you've got that spot on. And I had no idea. I didn't even realize what it was. When I was 14, I had like a past life regression, and like was really disappointed that like my life was like so boring. I was like, I should have definitely been Cleopatra. But since like more recent years, I've done more work, and I've gone back to like ancient Egypt, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I get that. And then at 16, I found boys and booze, and like completely abandoned like the spiritual path until my life fell apart at 30, and I was living abroad with my now ex-husband. Everything just crumbled. I found myself completely lonely, isolated, just in pieces. And it's like, oh, I had no family, I had no friends. And so it was like, what do I have? And I had like spirituality. So I fell onto that. And then that became like the journey. And yeah, since.
I love that. So since then you choose to go on a spirit, you will like redirect it back to your roots. I love that.
Sometimes
Yeah, sometimes we just have to get lost to find our way again. I love that.
Yeah, oh, completely. And like, I mean, I call them like bedroom floor breakdowns, where where like everything around you just feel like is crumbling, and you're like, and it's really that moment where it's like the pivotal moment where you can like choose to be a victim of it and like allow like the ground beneath you to open and swallow you up and then fall into a pit of despair, or you become the hero of that story and you go within and you ask yourself like, what isn't serving me? Where am I out of alignment? What have I outgrown? Like, why? Why has this happened for me? It's never why has this happened to me? It's always why has this happened for me? And when you change your mindset around these things, then you can see you approach a challenge from a different perspective. And then it gives you this infinite internal power to move through the challenges and like rebuild on like solid foundations.
I love that. So if somebody is going through the same like you were going when you were 30, life is crumbling, everything is just falling apart, where do you think what would be like a great step just to clear the path a little bit? What would you recommend for people who are like going through this right now in this moment? What helped you maybe?
Do you know, that's such a great question. Just stop, be
Okay.
still, go within. And I call it, excuse me, I call it like sit in the shit. Sorry about my language. Because it's very much like it's having like the courage to sit with yourself, to sit in like the depths of like your emotion, to sit in your truth and to sit in what is going on for me. Because essentially, you are the only person that knows that. You can work with a coach, and I coach people through that. But initially, like if you want to move forward, if you want to like create that internal change, you have to know what your starting point is. You have to know what you're up against, like the internal, the demons, the shame, the guilt, the fears, the worry, the hopelessness. And it's ugly. And that's why I call it like sit in the shit, because it stinks. You know, you don't want to be there. But you have to embrace that darkness. And I think that's like where like having like a coach is really beneficial, because it's hard. Like it's hard like to sit in that. But like you can't move on if you don't know where you're starting from.
You need to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
That's hard for so many people to just admit and take responsibility for that. Lots of people are not ready
100%.
for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it really is like taking responsibility. Like I came from like a narcissistic relationship, and it's really easy. And I work with a lot of women who go through like similar relationships, who have been victims of domestic abuse, and it's really like just taking responsibility, because it's really easy to say my life is a mess. I am the way I am because of you, and point the finger of blame to somebody else. And yes, the actions of another have wounded us deeply. They have scarred us. They have traumatized us. But all the time when the finger of blame is pointed outside of ourselves, then that other person holds our power, and we're still like the puppet. So it is really that moment of like taking responsibility, saying, I feel like the stuff outside of me happened and I can't control that. And it's not right. It's not justified. It's not fair. But I feel. And it's the moment when you take responsibility for the emotions that you're carrying. Okay. That's what it comes down to. Like, what do you feel? Rather than like pointing that finger of blame outside.
Yes, I absolutely agree. People need to think that the past doesn't necessarily define them. So
No.
it's not who they are actually. But so you started on your transformational journey when you were 30. And how about the breath work? How did you get to that body integration? Because I feel like that's so important, that it's not just the mind, it's everything goes through the body. And I love, that's why I was like, I gotta talk to this woman, because she gets it, gets it. And lots of people just gather up the information and then they stuck.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I think like you touched on it, like the word that like resonated for me with what you said there is stuck. You know, like so many people, so many people, like men, women, we're all feeling this, like this feeling of like stuck. And this is what I love about the breathwork, because like I've been coaching for like many years, and what
So
and I've seen.
This
Oh,
is how
sorry,
you
go on.
started. You started with coaching first,
Yeah,
and then you feel maybe like something is missing. So how it brought
yeah.
you from coaching to breathwork? What was that journey like?
So I actually started like in nutrition. Like my career was in the south of France. I was much more nutrition based, like 14 years ago, and like health coaching, eating psychology coaching. And I worked a lot in like the food industry. I bought a food product to market as well. So it was very much like health and well-being on the nutritional side. And then in 2017, I moved back to the UK, and with my children and my now ex-husband, we were still married. He was commuting backwards and forwards. And I was in this little bit of limbo. And then 2020, something happened, like this big like spiritual awakening. And I was finally able to like leave the marriage. I'd been trying to leave it for many years. And I felt that getting back to the UK, that was like a big step. I thought, okay, I can do this. And then 2020, like literally it hit. And I'd actually gone to a sound bath at the beginning of 2020, and and it was with an astrologer, and she said anything not built on solid foundations is going to crumble this year. Well, the whole world crumbled. And then like in the sound bath, I saw my house on fire, and it really like freaked me out. And then a couple of days later, like something came to light with my ex-husband, and I was like, if it's not now, it's never. And the words of this woman echoed in my mind, like anything not built on a solid foundation is going to crumble. And I just had this power within me that was like, I have to do this. And the thought of being in that married for the rest of my life, like terrified me. I was like, I cannot live like this. So then like I trained in sound therapy, and then Reiki, and then I got locked up with my ex-husband. And then I trained in breathwork about a year after that. But it was more for like my own personal journey, because I'd been doing a lot of breathwork in lockdown. And I'd done like the conscious connected breath, like sporadically from about 2017. And I loved the feeling of it. I love that feeling of when you do conscious connected breath, that all of the noise and all of the chaos like just stops. And it was the first time that I'd feel that like inner peace and inner calm. But I didn't realize, I was so disembodied, I was so disconnected at the time. I didn't even realize. It's only now looking back going, wow, like I was an actual mess. Like I was like a real hot mess back then. But yeah, the breath work like brought me to that place of stillness. And then I trained in, I think it's about 2021, just for my own personal practice. And I was going through a really bad divorce. But I was still like working, I was still helping people. I was integrating like the coaching. But then I was saying to my clients, hey, like, do you want to try some breath work with this? Do you want to try some Reiki with this? Do you want to try some sound with this? So I started bringing in all of these other holistic elements. And I was like, I'm getting results with my clients like much quicker than I ever have before. And the reason for that, I believe, is because like talk therapy, coaching, it only goes so far. Like we'll talk, we get stuck here in our heart space. But the breath, sound, Reiki, like that energetic like force, it's like bottom up healing, and everything meets in our heart space, which is like where we're all heartbroken, you know, like this lifetime, past lifetimes. So it's really that, as you said, like that embodiment of like the breath, like it connects like the mind and the body. And for me, it just like blows my mind how like we have the capacity and the power within us to heal ourselves through breathing, you know, like that is just like
Beautiful.
mind blowing. Yeah.
I love that. And you mentioned you felt disconnected from your body. How would you describe that? Like maybe for people who may experience that, but they don't know that experiencing that.
Yeah, I think like it was really like, I remember like in the early days, like feeling this real disassociation. It was almost like I was watching a movie of my life and I had no control over it. And then like the disconnection, it was just feeling this real sense of emptiness, loneliness, and just really just not knowing who I was, like just feeling I had everything. I mean, like I was living like the perfect life on Instagram, fancy holidays, flying first class, like nice hotels, like I was living like the life that everybody would want. And people would say to me all the time, my God, like, you're so lucky, Naomi, you're living the life of dreams. And I'd think, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I feel, why am I not enjoying my life? Why can't I enjoy this holiday? Why can't I enjoy these things? I was so, like, disconnected from myself because I was living a lie, because I was in such a toxic relationship, which my nervous system was completely, like, dysregulated. Like, my moods were, like, up and down. I didn't know who I was. Like, just getting through a day, like, a crash from chronic fatigue syndrome, because my body just couldn't, like, take it anymore. So yeah, it was
Was
like
it
a
like
rough
a
ride.
sickness, or like you always had feeling like you had to do something, or like I don't know, like how it shows up in the body,
Yeah.
you know, like sometimes, for example, with me, like when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, my tummy goes like this.
Yeah.
I can literally feel the feeling in my solar plexus or something, like something is not right. And I knew, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, although I was keep talking to myself, hey, you're fine, this is easy, we can overcome this, my stomach was just doing these things.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can I work with that? Because my mind, it gets it. It just gets it.
Yeah.
It understands it. But my body keeps doing this shaky stuff to and I couldn't understand what is going on with my body.
Yeah. So, like, back then, like, it was a feeling of numbness. It was
Numbness.
like extreme exhaustion, like mental, physical, emotional. I had nothing to give. Like, I'd walk up the stairs and I'd like the exhaustion of walking up the stairs would, like, bring me to tears. But so, like, now I'm embodied, like, I feel in my body. Like, so, like you say, that, like, if something's not right, that not, like, last night I woke up and I had like anxiety on my chest. I can say, oh, like, what's this telling me? So now, because I'm embodied, like, my body communicates with me and I can lean into those physical sensations. But back then, the disconnection, I didn't even have that. Like, it was just like numbness, like emptiness. Like, there was nothing. There was no communication because my nervous system was just completely, like, flatlined. There was no communication.
I love that. Now, and that is, like, helping now so many people, so many women who can feel, like, exhausted. The numbness, that we don't feel anything when we're supposed to feel joy.
Yeah.
We don't feel joy. We don't know why. And that is connection with the body. I love that.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, like, oh, sorry.
no, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Well, I think, like, so many women are walking around with a mask on, okay, because we have to be parenting, be working, be the wife, be the friend. There's so many, like, roles and, like, responsibilities that we hold. And there's that fear that if I crumble, if I speak my truth, that I'm not okay. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. How can I hold it all together? So I think we have this, like, this problem with women, that we have to hold it all together because there's a fear of, if it all falls apart, how can I be a mum? How can I go to work? What does life look like?
So the women you work the most with are what? Women, mothers, divorce, or it's like a mix of everything?
It's a real mix of everything. I mean, I kind of I'm like going to be 45 in a couple of weeks. So I'm, like, going through the joys of, like hormones, like, coming and punch me in the face, like, at 4 a.m. this morning. And I really want to, like, navigate, like, this, like, phase of my life, like, naturally. I don't want to, like, do Botox. I don't want to, like, do HRT, and I have nothing against it. Like, I very much, if that's the choice of, we all have our own, like, choices and we take responsibility for that, but this is just my choice. So, like, I'm kind of, like, really, like, I work with, like, women in midlife, basically, like, to help them through, because that's the phase where I'm in. So I'm, excuse me, like trying different magnesiums to help me sleep, like, trying all of the things. So it's giving, but saying that, like, I have like a handful of clients in their 20s. I have clients, like, that are 60 plus. Like, my oldest client is going to be 81 in a couple of weeks. So I'm not limited, like I will, if somebody gravitates towards me and I feel that I can help them, I'll help them. I'm not going to say, no, you don't tick the box.
I love that. And you have this method, BCB method.
Yeah.
Can you share something about that? Because I have no idea what it is and I'm very interested.
Ooh, okay. So BCB is breathe, connect, become. Okay. So breathe is our breath. So it's like connecting to your breath, conscious connected breath to embody you, to connect your mind and body, the bridge. Connect is about that connection. Firstly, connecting back to yourself, that reconnection, coming home through your breath. And it's also connecting to a community, connecting to like your family, connecting to your dreams, your desires, your ambitions, your goals, connecting to the source energy, the divine, something external from yourself. It's really about connection on all levels, which starts with the breath. And then become is that manifestation. Like, who do you want to be? Like, yes, bad stuff's happened to you in your past, but who do you want to be? Today is your day that you get to decide. What's the future look like for you? What does that future version look like? What does she feel like? How does she live her life? Like, see it, feel it, become it. So it's because like the conscious connected breath is like such like a powerful practice. Like and some people who facilitate like kind of like focus on inner child healing or like trauma release. Like whilst I'm like trauma informed in my sessions, I don't like, my goal is not to take somebody to like the dark to their darkness to release it. My method is focus on what do you want, focus on who are you becoming, like what is the version of you who you are stepping into. And I believe that anything that's holding us back from aligning with that North Star version of ourselves that's where we will go naturally to heal. So like I'm always like forward focused rather than like looking back and going, oh, let's dive into like inner child. Yeah, like we'll heal the inner child, but let it be natural. We'll release trauma, but let it be natural. Like let it be part of the path that's guiding you rather than going back.
Love that, because not everybody wants to go back. There is some painful
No.
memories who people doesn't want to go back. And like you said, it's so nice to also heal it as you go, just with the flow, where it's more safer for some people. Like I love to dig. I love to know why things happen in the past. So I love to go in the past and discover that parts of me. But also I understand when people wants to go more gentle, where they are focusing on more on the good things, and then whatever pops out, we work with it. So I love that. Would you love to share a story from your client, like some transformational story that how you help someone?
Yes, I would love to. Actually, it's my client, Brenda, and she gave me permission to share this story. So, she's going to be 81 in a couple of weeks, and she went through. She's so inspirational. She's had like a really rough like ride like the last 3 years. She found out that her husband of 58 years had been having an affair for 32 years. And so she went through 3 years of like trauma looping, was in a very, very dark place. And then one of my other clients said, you have to go to see Naomi. So when she started seeing me 3 months ago, she was really, really not in a good place. And we've worked on a lot of things that she can control, because she kept going back to the past and being re-traumatized and triggered by the past, and that was consuming her everyday life. And she's still living with her husband, and through like just doing like different like tools and mindset shifts, like she's like the fastest in her group of the park run at 81 years old nearly. So she's doing park run every Saturday, and she's like the fastest. She has got so many different, she's working out a couple of times a week. She is doing all of these different groups. She's taken control of like finances and so many different things that her husband had like taken control of in the past. So what I've really helped her with is controlling what, like stepping into her power, like what she can control, like stepping into the now, because we can't go back and we can't change the past. I've taught her how to like work through the triggers, how to allow them, how to like anger, like resentment, like their emotions, like they're not pleasant. But if we push them down, if we suppress them, they become like a dis-ease within our body. So having like safe like ways to like transmute that energy is how we heal it. So we've worked on things like that. But the real like amazing thing with Brenda was a couple of weeks ago. Oh, and she's volunteer manager at Cancer Research as well. So she's like really like living, like she's literally like living her best life, and she's still very triggered, and she still has like days where she like spirals, but like the transformation in like how she is just turning it around has been phenomenal. And she actually raised like nearly £2,000 recently for Cancer Research because she did a paraglide, like, and the guy who took her paragliding was like, oh, you have to sign a waiver because you've got brittle bones. I do not have brittle bones, I'll let you know. And so she was like, and then he's like, well, I'm not sure, I think it's going to be a little bit windy. I don't care, we're going up there, like I'm going to do this today. She was like, the determination, and this is the thing, it was really that determination, that fire, that passion within her. And then he said, oh, like you have to climb up that hill. She went, well, I've got to walk up. And the instructor said, yep, you're walking all the way to the top. And she did. And she looked at it, she went, I'll do it. I will get up that hill. I'm going to get up that hill. And she did. And the instructor said, you're better than the 20-year-olds going up there. And she had her walking poles and she got up that hill and she did the paraglide. And she said it was the best thing she ever did. The thing that I love about this story is if you put like an 81-year-old at the bottom of a momentous hill and you say, walk up there to jump off of it, how many 81-year-olds would just look at it and take the challenge and just do it? You know, like that is empowerment, that is strength, that is determination to take life and take the opportunities and go for it. So yeah, that's my story I want to share.
That, well, cheerings for her. I love that she started to trust herself and her strength. Yeah. That's beautiful. So you did like with her, like what was the process? Like you did like the coaching, you did some integration with breath and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do like the conscious connected breath with somebody in their 80s because it does put your body into a state of stress. We worked on like various other tools, like what did I teach? Just like with music, for example. So she loves ABBA. So I said, I was like, right. Yeah, exactly. And so she's got some songs that she likes with ABBA. And I'm like, okay, like when you feel like low, when you feel triggered, put your favorite ABBA song on and move your body, you know, like, so we can do it with the breath, which is like amazing. But for it, that conscious connected breath isn't safe for everybody. Like if you have any heart issues, if you have like epilepsy or any seizure related like disorders, you can't do breath work. But there are other ways that you can like reach that, like that embodied release.
So you approach everybody very individually, what they need, and
100%.
I love that. Of course, because you are not.
I'm not a cookie cutter coach. Like,
good. I love that. I love that. Well, would you like to share? I know, like, we have a little bit of time. Is there anything like people can do and start doing like little breath exercise every day to just connect with themselves? And I would love to try if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have like a 7-day like breath like reset, which is free, and it's just like 3 minutes for 7 days with just different breathwork practices, and it's just like a taster. Just stop and breathe. You know, like you take 22,000 breaths a day. So be conscious with a couple of those. But like one breath that is really good, which is like better than coffee, is inhaling up, exhaling down. Can you feel that?
I feel the energy flow. Yes.
Yeah. So that's like espresso breath.
Okay, I can feel that. I'm already like, Ready. I
Yeah,
love that. I'm gonna link everything in the video if somebody wants that they can click on it
amazing.
and stuff. So I love that. Well, this was so lovely. And share one more thing, how people can work with you, where they can find you, where you're based and stuff like that.
Amazing. So I do a lot of work online, and I'm based in the UK, but I work with people all over the world, working online, and you can find me on Instagram at Naomi Buff. And yeah, and I run like a online breathwork, which is Breathe with the Moon and Stars. So Breathe with the Moon and Stars is synced with the full and new moon and the astrological star sign. And we work with the conscious connected breath, and we work with what's going on in this wild cosmos above, and like work with like the themes for release, and like intention setting for the new moon. So it's really powerful. It's really, really fun. So you have to come and join.
Yes, I'm totally in. And that happens like once a month, basically, on a new moon or.
Twice a month. So like on a new moon and on a full moon.
I love that. And it's
Yeah.
online and I
Yeah.
love that. I'm
Yeah.
there. You got me. I
Yes.
want to try. I
Yes.
absolutely want to try.
Please.
I love it. Well, lovely. Thank you so much. Very
Oh,
much
thank
for coming
you.
here and having this lovely chat. I'm going to link everything in the description, your Insta, all the links that people can find you, use your free workshops and stuff like that. So Naomi, thank you so much for coming. And I hope you're going to have a fantastic day.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Yes.